I've got myself a new video game console. This one being seen as the grandfather of video games, the Odyssey from Magnavox. This particular model were released in 1972, and the first prototype were made back in 1966. You can see on the design that is clearly 1970s, with this futuristic look with a vinyl top cover here and plastic chassis, and of course the wood grain finish. This is a quite interesting machine because it does not have a microprocessor or any sort of conventional digital circuits that you would find in a modern video game console. This actually is DTL based circuit, which is just a clever circuit with a lot of diodes and transistors to create a picture on the screen. This also means that it can't keep count and all that stuff, but it gives out simple games. I'll show you in a minute. These are the controllers that the system comes with. Quite bulky wires, almost as thick as my index finger here. Some serial number and stuff like that on the back. Quite simple design. You have a reset button, a vertical and horizontal knob, and also one that's called English. What this does in the ping pong game is to control the angle of which the ball shoots out from your square. And it can also feature an external power cord. I do not have that one. Player 1, player 2 controller ports, a center knob, which is to center the line on the screen to divide the screen. Game cord is where the antenna goes, and speed controls the speed of the ball, and you also have an accessory input. On the front here you have the cartridge slot. When you insert the cartridge, it also turns on the video game console. Here is a game cartridge. So you can see, not very big, and that is because it doesn't actually hold a game. It's just a jumper card. As I mentioned, it's just a clever circuit of diodes and transistors, so when you put in this, it reroutes some of the circuitry to create different rules for the game, so it actually only holds one game really. And they are labeled 1. What comes with the console is 1 to 6. And back here is an optional shooting gallery rifle, which is the games 9 and 10. And you also had several different optional games which you could buy separately. This runs on batteries. Here's the battery compartment. It uses 6 C batteries, but it haven't lost its power yet, so it can last for a while. I'll just put it to the side. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm back. I'll insert the cartridge now, and here's the game. There's the line I talked about, which you can center. You can move it to the sides. Here is 1 player, 2 player, and a ball. I'll just see. That's the wrong one. You just move it, and as I said, it doesn't keep count, so when it moves off screen, the player that let in the ball needs to push reset to send the ball back. And as I mentioned that there, I sent it off the screen. As I mentioned, the English knob controls the trajectory of the ball. And to turn it off, just unplug it. This particular model is actually from 1972. I checked the serial number on the internet. It came with some accessories, or this is really the only accessory it came with during its lifetime. A rifle. This is a light gun. I'll just see if I can get it out. Excuse me. Okay. Well, there's the plug for the accessory port. Trigger. You can actually adjust the aim on this one, and in there you have the lens. What it does when you insert one of the cartridges for the light gun, it alters the game so that when you aim on the screen and pull the trigger, the square disappears. And this one isn't that sophisticated, so you can actually just aim it on the roof light or on the sun or whatever, and it will still trigger. The design of this is actually like a real rifle, so we need to pump it, like a pump action, and then you will be able to trigger it. Let's see if I can do it now. Here it click, and then you pull the trigger. It comes with the cartridges, of course, and an inspection card, instructions, and overlays. These are kind of transparent overlays which you put on the screen. Those are made for 18 to 25 inches screens. I don't have that, so they won't fit. The static would keep them in place, and it would act as the graphics, because this machine doesn't really have graphics, as you could see. And for being one of the earliest machines, I'd say it's okay, fine, acceptable. It's based on technology from the 1960s, and Intel didn't come with a microprocessor until 1971, so by the time these were put in mass production, the machine, it would be quite still expensive machine. Here I have taken off the cover for the game console box. It's kind of like the Japanese boxes, you just have styrofoam underneath, and it's just a piece of paper on top. I've done some minor restoration to this box because it had a lot of scuffs and marks. Some were already fixed before I got it. Like here in the corner here, it's taped together because it's torn up. I didn't do that, but it's fine, it won't open up. yeah, of course this is 41 years old now, so I'd say it's quite acceptable condition for the age. The unit is meant to be stored in this, so here are all the game cards. As I said, it doesn't have graphics. Every game is 2-player games, so here are different other cards, chips, dices to help you play the games. There are also some stuff like a football card, goal card and all that stuff, and instruction manual. Oops. Put that aside. Here are several different overlays which you put on the screen. And 2 seconds. As you can see, the overlays come in 2 different sizes. This is for the smaller screens and this is for the larger screens. Of course, this 43-inch would be too big. It wouldn't keep the edges correctly. And the lower part is where the console itself will go. With this one also came with a roll of Scotch tape, which the original one actually did come with. Some more cards, money for a Monopoly game or roulette game, I think. And this one also, of course, you wouldn't be able to play the games without this, I'd say, a rather thick instruction manual. And this one also have an inspection card and all that stuff. Good old instructions on how to set up the console, how everything works. And you know it's old when the TVs look like this in the instructions. For being 41 years old, and it still works, it's, well, actually quite good, because these modern Xboxes don't even last that long. But as I mentioned, it's based on 60s technology, and the person who made this, he wanted to implement active cartridges to put on circuitry on these to enhance the gameplay, but the company at the time wouldn't let him. And I'm sure it also would be possible to implement simple color support to get background colors and stuff like that. But you know, this was the early beginning, so they didn't know a lot about it. And this particular model were made between 1972 and 1975, I think, and exported models were sold throughout 1976. So this is really the earliest you could get. And what took up the market after this were the Pong consoles and later the Atari 2600. And rest is history. So this is really the oldest console you can find for the home consumer market. It were only made around 300,000 units, I think, and a lot less rifles. I bought this on eBay, which of course isn't the cheapest place, but since I live in Norway there's not a lot of choices. But it's quite interesting piece of history to have in my collection. Thank you for watching.